They arrived at the hidden peak at the entrance of the Four Symbols Cave, and for a moment, they didn't notice anything unusual. The two could only wander aimlessly. Not long after, their search yielded no results, and they eventually found themselves at the edge of a deep valley in the peak, where the energy was incredibly dense. I've already checked the entire mountain. It seems that only the terrain here is special, and the energy here is the most concentrated in the whole peak, Xiao said, his gaze scanning the area. The valley was like an endless abyss, deep and bottomless, shaped like a massive basin. At this moment, Xiao and Kai stood at the entrance, wandering. Around the valley basin, countless medicinal herbs grew, their dense energy faintly forming a mist, seemingly covering the entrance. Herbal fragrance, the energy of heaven and earth. Could this be the entrance to the Four Symbols Cave? Xiao speculated. Upon hearing this, Kai relaxed her frown slightly, but the 10-colored power within her didn't show any fluctuations. Although this is a medicinal treasure land, there seems to be quite a few sinister things in the unknown world below. Xiao vast soul power allowed him to detect some subtle fluctuations beneath the basin entrance. His expression gradually turned to one of shock, his demeanor growing strange. This was the first time Xiao encountered such a bizarre place. Not only did it suppress his power, but the entire space seemed filled with a sharp, cutting sensation, making it difficult to destroy with just one person's strength. Let's go. The two exchanged a glance and, after a brief moment, without hesitation, moved swiftly into the endless abyss of the valley basin. As they entered, a dark power spread like a tidal wave, completely enveloping them. A sensation of weightlessness stirred their hearts. Xiao pupils contracted slightly, and with a swift motion, he grabbed onto something in the space, stabilizing his body. Looking ahead, they saw a steep cliff before them. It seemed that even Xiao various powers were temporarily ineffective here, with only the dragon blood and dragon god transformation in his body emanating a faint, gentle fluctuation. This is a dead zone, Xiao murmured. Let's retreat, Kai said seriously, her hand tightening slightly as she reminded Xiao. Xiao gaze shifted, and with the dim light in this void, he saw that they were at a cliff. The steep cliffs were covered with countless eerie white bones and debris, which made his heart shudder. Clearly, these remnants were left by powerful beings who had intruded upon the Four Symbols Cave. This space has sealed all our powers. As time passes, if the vitality within us is devoured, we will fall here completely. Let's go. Kai expression was grim as a dominant surge of 10-colored bloodline power gradually radiated from her skin, shining with a brilliant color, seemingly trying to escape with the three forces of her bloodline power. This place is indeed a dead zone, but it's not without a solution. Look. At that moment, Xiao firmly gripped a rock on the cliff with one hand and raised his other hand to point at the bottom of the cliff's void. The bottom of the cliff was very dark, as if it contained some terrifying power that could devour all things. But at this moment, a protruding rock caught their attention. This is the gate? Kai beautiful eyes narrowed. Using her 10-colored bloodline power, she seemed to see an ancient gate covered with green vines through the cracks in the rock. But how do we get closer? She asked. There's at least 100-meter distance from here to the rock below, and with the strange forces in this space, the impact would be very destructive, Kai said, shaking her head. The scene before them was clearly filled with danger. The Four Symbols Cave was full of opportunities, but its danger was not to be underestimated. Trust me, close your eyes and move. Xiao observed the situation around the cliff for a moment. Then, after scanning with his soul power and detecting no other strange auras, he let go of the rock, wrapped his arms tightly around Kai slender waist, and the two of them shot downward like a falling thunderbolt. Their speed was so fast that the sound of the wind cutting through the air made Kai long skirt flutter, revealing a glimpse of white skin beneath. The sharp sound of the wind was deafening, as countless black energies around the cliff slowly closed in on them, filled with a greedy and murderous aura. At the critical moment, Xiao suddenly extended his hand and slammed it directly onto the rock at the base of the mountain. A cloud of dust and powder erupted, but some of the solid rocks remained, which he grabbed with his palm. Both their bodies stabilized completely. Down. Xiao Yin grunted coldly, flicking his hand and sending Kai Lin's body into the void beneath the rocks. This was the most peculiar place here. Xiao Yin, come quickly. There seems to be something on this gate. Xiao Yin's palm glowed bright red, but despite the impact of the hundreds of meters fall colliding with the rocks, no injuries were left. His physical strength had clearly reached an entirely new level. The suppressed aura continued, and Xiao Yan's figure flickered, appearing beneath the rocks in an instant. Beneath the rocks was a cave, several dozen meters in size. The floor was covered with moss, and when they looked up, they saw a turquoise gate embedded in the cliffside, appearing before their eyes. Ancient, strange. This was Xiao Yan's first impression when he looked at it. It seemed that opening this door would lead to a completely new time. These vines don't seem to have grown wildly. They seem deliberately wrapped around the gate. This kind of creature, could it be a dragon? Kai Lin's voice echoed through the area, but it suddenly jolted Xiao Yan awake. This is probably one of the entrances to the Four Symbols Cave, the Azure Dragon Cave entrance. I know how to open this door. Step back. Xiao Yan clapped his hands in approval, and then the power of dragon blood quietly surged, forming a miniature golden dragon shadow around him. Boom! As soon as the golden dragon shadow appeared, it unleashed an overwhelming and terrifying aura, and with a dragon's roar, it spread toward the gate. Fizzle! The ancient gate, which had been indestructible, was shattered under the shockwave from the Dragon King's power, even causing the blue vines to form a dormant giant dragon that collapsed without a fight. Let's go. In an instant, the two figures disappeared inside. As they entered, the oppressive force that had been on their bodies vanished completely, as if they had entered a special space. Beyond the Azure Dragon Cave entrance, the space was probably part of the Four Symbols Cave. This space was dim, with cold winds swirling around, carrying eerie, high-pitched screeches that resembled the wailing spirits of a hellish underworld. Darkness, ashen gray, empty layers. There was not a single trace of vitality, only an almost unbearable silence that encompassed the entire world. It seems this is the so-called Four Symbols Cave, but this kind of world doesn't quite match the many legends of the second most peculiar place in the monster realm. Upon entering the Four Symbols Cave, though their strength had returned to normal, their soul power seemed restricted by some ancient force, rendering it almost useless, causing Xiao Yin to frown deeply. Where could that demon beast be now? A quasi-seventh reincarnation stage power is not something a mere half-seventh reincarnation stage can compare to. It seems I need to prepare carefully. Inside Xiao Yin, the formations and the power of sacred flame surged together, ready for any sudden situations around them. What's that? As Xiao Yin was preparing, Kai Lin's jade-like hand subtly lifted, pointing at a black swirling mass in front of them. A ball of black energy quickly enveloped them. The rolling dark clouds seemed to contain some living entity within. A serpent-type demon beast? Is that the three evil spirit serpents? A moment later, Kai Lin was surrounded by the power of the 10 colors, and she immediately recognized the creature hidden in the black mist, exclaiming in surprise. Within the black clouds, a massive three-headed serpent continuously writhed. Its body was over 100 meters long, and it moved like a moving black cloud, casting a shadow over everything around it. Due to the dim light, they could barely make out the three huge serpent heads, each about 30 meters wide, their red eyes glowing like lanterns, exuding a blood-red eerie light in the darkness, terrifying to the extreme. Fire. The demon beast's power was only around the reincarnation stage, but Xiao Yin didn't hold back at all. A massive wave of fire surged forward, easily sealing its entire body. Rip. The three-headed beast seemed to sense some kind of threat, its enormous snake head swaying as it flicked its tongues. A chilling wind blasted out from its three gaping mouths, carrying a deadly venom that eroded everything around it. Xiao Yin. Wait. It seems. The scales on Kai Lin's body contained the peak bloodline of serpentine demon beasts, and she easily sensed some of the thoughts in the other's mind. It seems this creature is also from within the Four Symbols Cave. Our brief skirmish earlier has convinced it. Let's go, follow it and see. The two exchanged glances, their speed suddenly increasing as they directly pursued the direction in which the three-headed demon beast had fled. Russell, finally, someone's here? At that moment, from the depths of the dark void, an ancient and murky voice quietly spoke. What is this? When the three-headed demon beasts reached the entrance of a dark cave, they suddenly stopped, their bodies quietly detaching from the air, lying still on the ground. A respectful look even appeared in their serpentine eyes. It seemed that something terrifying was hidden within the cave, something that made them fearful. Whoosh! Xiao Yin and Kai Lin exchanged a glance, moving swiftly one after the other, charging into the cave. Outside the dark cave, a loud crash suddenly echoed, causing rocks and dust to rain down in the narrow passageways of the cave. A terrifying aura mixed with the sound, shaking both Xiao Yin and Kai Lin. This attack came from the three-headed demon beasts. They seem to want us to retreat. There's something dreadful hidden inside. The huge noise caused the entire cave to tremble, its force tremendous. Kai Lin seemed to sense some of the thoughts in Xiao Yan's mind and couldn't help but speak up. The demon beast we've been tracking should be inside. I've already observed the surroundings along the way. This is the innermost area of the Four Symbols Cave, and if I'm not mistaken, we've reached its core. Although the cave was narrow, it seemed endless. Hand in hand, the two ventured deeper. The further they went, the heavier the ominous atmosphere became. Even Kai Lin, with her tin-colored power, couldn't shake off a sense of unease. It seemed that at the bottom of the cave, an unmatched fierce beast was waiting for them. Devour! As they moved forward, Xiaoyan released the flame of sacred flame to light the way. At the same time, a dark devouring power enveloped his body, causing the eerie, malevolent aura around the cave to quickly retreat. The weaker creatures in the cave fled, unable to get close to Xiaoyan. After walking for nearly a quarter of an hour, the path ahead finally widened, and it seemed they had reached the end of the cave. A whole new world unfolded before their eyes. At the end of the cave was an ancient and shattered barrier, yet no aura of pressure remained. Xiao Yin and Kai Lin easily crossed it. Before them lay a vast cave, its size reaching 100 feet. In the center, a night pearl, the size of a fist, floated, illuminating the entire space. On the walls of the cave, a long sealed stone coffin stood, its surface etched with countless intricate patterns, as if to suppress some creature. Surrounding the coffin were 4 ancient, sacred stone statues, standing silently. These stone statues represented the 4 divine beasts: Azure Dragon, White Tiger, Vermilion Bird, and Black Tortoise. As Xiao Yin looked up, he noticed that the walls of the cave were adorned with ancient, heavy blood-red markings, intricately carved to form a complex array. Together with the 4 divine beast statues, it seemed as though something immensely powerful was being suppressed. Buzz, buzz, buzz. Xiao Yan's gaze remained fixed on the stone coffin surrounded by the 4 symbol statues. From the coffin, a sense of unease washed over him. Even the god-slaying ruler, which had been quiet inside him, now emitted a scorching wave of energy. Was this the power of the artifact's attraction, or something else? Xiao Yin wasn't sure, but he sensed that this cave was definitely a place of danger. The ground of the entire cave was littered with white bones, the remains of at least hundreds of people who had perished here. Combined with the 4 divine beast statues and the coffin, a sense of dread and caution slowly crept into Xiao Yan's heart. This place seems to carry the scent of that demon beast, though it's faint. After a while, Kai Lin's beautiful eyes slowly focused on the stone coffin. Using her tin-colored power to sense, she seemed to detect some faint traces of the demon beast's aura from the cave. Human, save me. Countless treasures of the 4 Symbols Cave are yours. As Xiao Yin was carefully examining the area, a fierce, snarling roar suddenly emanated from the stone coffin. The sound was overwhelming, shaking the very heart and soul. Who? As soon as the voice appeared, the energies within the cave became silent. Even the tin-colored power within Kai Lin stirred, as though this voice carried immense pressure, terrifying in its force. At this moment, a faint dim light flickered within the ancient stone coffin, yet it was suppressed by the countless ancient patterns above, revealing only a vague sense of something fiercely powerful being imprisoned beneath the stone. The source of the voice also came from beneath the coffin. I am the supreme beast of the monster realm, the heavenly evil blood tiger. As Xiao Yin and his companion focused their attention, another earth-shattering roar resonated from within the coffin, laden with an air of faint arrogance. Regardless of how the being inside struggled, waves of light patterns emanating from the coffin continuously suppressed its aura. Hearing such arrogant words, Kai Lin and Xiao Yin exchanged glances. The situation seemed much better than they had imagined. However, due to the terrifying power of this being, they decided not to reveal their strengths yet. Heavenly evil blood tiger? What is that? To prevent the creature from sensing any abnormalities, both Xiao Yin and his companion suppressed their auras to the second-tier reincarnation stage and questioned in a somewhat awkward manner. With the coffin acting as a barrier, it was difficult for the creature to detect their true powers. The two fell silent, gazing in astonishment at the stone coffin. Release me, and I will grant you all the inheritances and treasures within the Four Symbols Cave. Otherwise, without my assistance, with your second-tier reincarnation stage powers, in this space, you will find only death. Clearly taken aback that no one in the monster realm knew of his illustrious name, the heavenly evil blood tiger pondered for a moment before roaring again. My partner and I entered here merely to seek some opportunities. We were forced in by a three-headed serpent. We have no intention of disturbing your cultivation. We will leave now. Kai Lin, let's go. After saying this, Xiao Yin took Kai Lin's hand, stepping lightly toward the cave entrance, trying to leave this space. You too, come back? I see that you have a violent attribute. You brat practice fire attribute cultivation? Watching Xiao Yin and Kai Lin, who finally made it here unharmed and untainted by the evil entities surrounding the cave, the voice of the heavenly evil blood tiger once again echoed from within the coffin. His cultivation is indeed fire attribute. At that moment, Kai Lin paused slightly, her beautiful eyes shimmering with a faint hue of the power of the 10 colors as she looked toward the coffin. The cave path they traversed was filled with various sinister auras, but the atmosphere within was exceptionally sacred, clearly suitable for beastly cultivation. Moreover, within this so-called Four Symbols Cave, countless energies of heaven and earth flowed slowly from the underground river, converging towards the stone coffin and the 4 divine beast stone statues, supplying them with an endless source of energy. The entire cave felt incredibly mysterious, and with the presence of some eerie white bones scattered around, it seemed that the treasures within still remained untouched. Senior, this space is so dangerous, this fruitless endeavor. Xiao Yin chuckled softly, expressing regret as he prepared to leave with Kai Lin, scattering the brilliance of the sacred flame along the way. Do you know about the sacred flame? Hearing Kai Lin's indifferent tone, the voice from within the coffin fell silent for a moment before slowly replying. Sacred flame? Upon hearing this, Xiao Yan's heart jolted. Could there be a sacred flame within this space? But why didn't his own sacred flames respond at all? Why was that? Could the mysterious suppressive aura have isolated the sacred flames from sensing one another? Exactly, it is indeed the sacred flame. Moreover, it is the 16th ranked sacred flame in the Great Thousand Worlds, the heavenly fiend demon fire. Upon hearing Xiao Yan's surprised voice, the beast in the coffin sneered. Clearly, such a bargaining chip was enough to entice them into acting to rescue it. If you can free me from this coffin, I will tell you the location of that sacred flame and even assist you in subduing it. What do you think? It's a pretty profitable deal, isn't it? The voice from the coffin resounded once more. Kai Lin's gaze immediately turned to Xiao Yin, waiting for his response. Okay. Xiao Yin nodded, vaguely sensing a hint of the sacred flame's presence. Yet the beast appeared to treat them as mere servants, not realizing that both of them were ruthlessly decisive beings. However, they seemed to have no intention of exposing the beast's nonsense and planned to play dumb instead. If I can obtain the sacred flame, I can definitely break through to the 3rd-tier reincarnation stage. Kai Lin, we can give it a try. Xiao Yan's eyes sparkled with excitement. Yeah, but if the senior is so powerful, why are you trapped here? Kai Lin looked at Xiao Yan's expression, unable to suppress a smile, her gaze scanning the surroundings for more traces. Stop with the nonsense. You either make this deal, or you have to. A mocking laugh suddenly echoed from within the stone coffin, and immediately, a rock slide burst forth from the only exit of the cave, easily sealing the entire space. The rocks were covered in layers of ancient restraints. Without the strength of the sixth reincarnation stage, it would be nearly impossible to break through. Give it a try. Xiao Yan softly murmured as his spiritual energy surged. Waves of intricate formations appeared and quietly spread across the walls of the cave. A total of 590,000 formations. Such a vast power of formations was enough to deal with someone at the quasi-sixth reincarnation stage. This was one of Xiao Yan's backup plans. After all, in order to obtain the magic core of this demon beast, he needed to break the suppressive power and free it. However, the beast's quasi-seventh reincarnation stage power was terrifying, so Xiao Yan naturally prepared all possible contingencies. Let's begin. If you can't break the suppressive power in time, the air and energy in this cave are too thin, and you'll perish here. The bones on the ground serve as a warning. Of course, if you can free me, our previous agreement still stands. Xiao Yan ignored the voice, instead carefully examining the four divine beast stone statues surrounding the coffin. The night pearl in the center faintly released a strange fluctuation. This was clearly the key to breaking the suppressive power. I'll give it a try. After inspecting carefully, Xiao Yan couldn't find any weakness. He could only shake his head, summoning his fire energy, inching closer to the coffin's position. However, as Xiao Yan deliberately suppressed his strength and didn't use the sacred flame, the demon beast inside the coffin slightly let its guard down. There seems to be something in this coffin that makes the power of the tin-colored heaven-swallowing python eager to claim it. Kai Lin stood in place, seemingly exploring the cave's mysteries just like Xiao Yan. Strange. The fluctuations from these two don't seem quite right. One of them even has a faint aura related to heavenly fiend Foxfire. Could this person have a past connection with the demon emperor? Is it just my imagination? Although the demon beast had been suppressed, its keen senses still noticed some strange details. For now, it lay quietly, watching Xiao Yan's every move. After guiding Xiao Yan and Kai Lin, the demon beast fell silent. It seemed that the immense pressure surrounding the stone coffin prevented it from continuing communication. Xiao Yan seemed to sense this, and after a brief discussion with Kai Lin, he decided to test the power of the four divine beast formation. Slowly circulating his immense reincarnation energy, Xiao Yan's body began to exude hot fire energy, almost as if a volcano were about to erupt. However, as Xiao Yan neared the four divine beast formation, his body inexplicably halted. It was as if a mysterious and powerful force was forcefully blocking him. A chilling deathly aura slowly emanated from the four divine beast statues, as if some unknown secret lay hidden within, exuding danger. Otherwise, how could a quasi-seventh reincarnation stage beast be imprisoned here? What's wrong? Kai Lin, sensing Xiao Yan's condition, quickly withdrew her gaze from the cave and focused on the tense expression on Xiao Yan's face. This is a formation, and it can instantly repel all of my probes and power. It seems a bit strange. Xiao Yan furrowed his brow, and as he spoke, the core runes within his body transmitted a long-forgotten sense of unease. Even the demon beast's voice had disappeared without a trace, as if the formation and the stone coffin exerted an overwhelming suppressive force, silencing any further communication from the beast. Since there's evil chi here, why not try using the Ghost Realm Divine Manual? Xiao Yan quickly withdrew, and Kai Lin gently placed her hand on his arm, speaking softly. Kai Lin was aware that Xiao Yan had cultivated the Three Realms Divine Manual. However, each person could only focus on mastering one technique, as spreading oneself too thin would hinder true mastery. Xiao Yan nodded. The Ghost Realm Divine Manual, which had been dormant within him for so long, was now activated. The Soul Transformation Netherworld Mantra was unleashed. though he was only using the simplest method of operating the divine technique. A terrifying, ghostly aura coiled around Xiao Yan's arm. Without hesitation, Xiao Yan immediately directed it towards the four divine beast formation, unleashing an earth-shattering force capable of splitting mountains and shattering stones. The ghostly energy clashed with the formation's void. Xiao Yan pulled Kai Lin along, retreating to the corner of the cave. The scorching fire energy surrounded them both, offering protection as they silently waited for any changes within the cave. Then, a strange scene occurred. Moments later, the ghost light's speed surged wildly, devouring everything in its path with the power of devouring, seemingly breaking through the invisible restraints of the four divine beast formation. It struck the four divine beast stone statues one after another, which had previously been taunting and summoning something. Night Pearl. Four divine beast stone statues. At that instant, the brilliant flames surrounding Xiao Yan's body floated, and his eyes slowly narrowed, as though he had suddenly sensed something. Buzz, buzz, buzz. Suddenly, waves of eerie wind surged in the dead silence of the cave, as if some ancient and malevolent creature was slowly awakening. After striking the four divine beast stone statues, the ghost light quietly vanished. However, a series of sharp cracking sounds suddenly came from the four statues. Stones and dust continuously peeled off from them, and an overwhelming life force began to spread rapidly, like bamboo shoots after rain. Behind the stone statues of the divine beasts, in the shadowy depths, for intricate and lifelike mysterious patterns erupted with blinding light, releasing energy that quickly filled the entire cave. At the same time, the four ancient divine beasts, looking down upon all life, slowly broke free from their stone statues. It was as if they had awakened from a long slumber dating back to ancient times, coming to life in an instant. The azure dragon divine beast's expression was one of disdain. It swung its massive body, its claws outstretched, and the overwhelming azure aura tore through everything like a hurricane. The white tiger divine beast stood still, its feet planted firmly on the ground. Its fierce gaze was filled with a murderous intent, as if it were about to strike Xiao Yan with a fatal blow at any moment. The Xuanwu divine beast lay on the ground, releasing waves of heavy yellow aura. Such terrifying defensive power could likely withstand even a typical fifth reincarnation stage expert's assault. The vermilion bird fluttered gracefully, as if engaged in some kind of ritual. Each of the four divine beasts moved with their own unique actions, their bodies emitting dazzling light. An unprecedented sense of danger suddenly filled the air. Is this a deadly formation? At this moment, Kai Lin's arm felt slightly cold, and her eyes flashed with an ominous gleam. The power of the 10 colors flowed gently through her delicate body, creating a mesmerizing aura. A deadly formation is nothing more than a powerful array, one that has yet to be broken. If it could be broken, it wouldn't be called a deadly formation. Xiao Yan's expression changed dramatically. He slowly raised his head and began to think. Danger and opportunity always go hand in hand. The strength of the four divine beasts was almost on par with the fifth reincarnation stage, and defeating them would likely not be an easy task. In such a situation, it seemed the only way forward would be through wisdom. The center of the formation. Why is there a night pearl? This thing seems to ignore many attacks, and it continuously glows. It seems to possess infinite power. Could this be the source and nexus of the power? Xiao Yan's gaze remained fixed on the four divine beasts, and he slowly turned his attention to the night pearl protected at the center. These four divine beasts were not their true forms, but rather seemed to be manifestations of energy. But what could be so precious that it required these four divine beasts to guard and suppress it in this cave? Kai Lin, hold the four divine beasts off for 1 minute. After speaking, Xiao Yan's aura instantly dissipated, leaving his body devoid of any power. Stealthily, he moved toward the area covered by the four divine beast formation. Power of Medusa. Kai Lin let out a soft hum, and from behind her, a 7-colored serpent shadow from ancient times coiled. Its forked tongue flicked, releasing a powerful toxic mist. The strength of the tin-colored heaven swallowing python had long since been mastered by Kai Lin. Rip! In that moment, Kai Lin engaged the four divine beasts in battle. Night Pearl. Is this the core of the formation, the nexus? With Kai Lin's cover, Xiao Yin quickly bypassed the four divine beasts and entered the formation. His palm quietly grasped the Night Pearl, which was the size of a dragon's eye. At that moment, the core patterns within his body suddenly erupted with an unprecedented surge of excitement. Whoosh! Staring at the pearl in his hand, Xiao Yin gently swallowed, wiping the cold sweat from his forehead. Core patterns, the power of the formation. Break for me. In an instant, Xiao Yan's cold, commanding snort echoed, accompanied by a deep spiritual force that surged into the Night Pearl. The lingering will and formation patterns within the Night Pearl were swiftly erased by Xiao Yin. Even the presence of the four divine beasts began to stiffen. Boom! A violent energy ripple suddenly spread from the center of the formation, reverberating throughout the cave, creating a thunderous echo that shook the very air. With Xiao Yan's actions, the four vividly alive divine beasts were once again turned to stone, their surroundings falling silent. The entire cave returned to its dead stillness, as if nothing had ever awakened here. As the crisis began to unfold, Kai Lin's beautiful eyes were filled with confusion. She looked at the four divine beast stone statues and the bright pearl in Xiao Yan's hand, and could not help but speak out. That level of vicious attack, even with my 9-colored heaven-swallowing python strength, would have been quite tricky to deal with. How is it that Xiao Yin was able to easily neutralize it? Her gaze landed on the pearl, where a faint aura of pressure lingered. It made her instinctively wary. Even the 9-colored heaven-swallowing python power within Kai Lin's body seemed to detect a subtle, yet powerful fluctuation from the pearl. If my guess is correct, this should be a mystical pearl formed from an array map. When activated, it can summon the four divine beast formation, which is used to trap a single powerful being. Though I can't fully control it yet, activating it to trap some ordinary 6th reincarnation stage experts shouldn't be a problem. A faint smile appeared on Xiao Yan's face. Almost instinctively, he sensed the unusual and mysterious nature of the Night Pearl. To condense an array map into a pearl the size of a dragon's eye through the power of formation patterns, such strength and precision probably meant that the creator could control at least 700,000 formation patterns. Who would have thought that in such a mysterious place like the Azure Dragon Cave, they would encounter an ancient array? It could be said that this misfortune turned out to be a blessing. However, if Xiao Yin hadn't cultivated his spiritual energy and array master skills, the pressure from the four divine beast formation just now would have been enough to trap them. Their fate might have ended like those powerful figures who turned into cold, lifeless bones. The array has been broken. Now, the most important step comes next. After saying this, the two of them bypassed the four divine beast formation and approached the stone coffin near the cave wall. The array map had already been stored by Xiao Yin. With time, he would be able to activate the formation completely, making it one of his powerful trump cards. Inside the stone coffin rested the heavenly evil blood tiger, a peerless beast with strength approaching the quasi-7th reincarnation stage. It was the key to solving the problem of the 10-colored power within Kai Lin's body. The 9-colored heaven-swallowing python and the 10-colored heaven-swallowing python might seem similar, but the difference between them was as vast as a chasm. One belonged to a Do-D expert, while the other was close to the supreme Do-Shen realm, almost as terrifying as the power of the flame mantra, which could send one to heaven or hell with a single thought. I've left several contingencies in the cave. Even if this creature breaks free, we'll be able to handle it. Let's begin. Xiao Yan's spiritual power, mental strength, and sacred flame energy had spread throughout the cave, giving him considerable confidence. The two then focused their attention on the stone coffin. This stone coffin was unlike any Xiao Yan had ever seen. It was square-shaped, surrounded by a sinister energy that seemed to seep into the very soul. Just a single glance made his mind waver. Strange, mysterious patterns resembling demonic beast figures covered the lid of the coffin. Beneath these tiny beast shapes, it seemed as if all other forces had become insignificant. What is this power? How can it ignore my sacred flame? At that moment, when Xiao Yin directed his sacred flame toward the stone coffin, trying to break through the mysterious seal, an eerie scene unfolded. The orange flames surrounding Xiao Yin, accompanied by 6 other weaker flames, were drawn toward the stone coffin like moths to a flame. In an instant, they were extinguished without a trace. Even the terrifying sacred flame did not cause any disturbance as it vanished mysteriously. It's not that it's being ignored. To be precise, the sacred flame you released was absorbed by the stone coffin. Kailin, also surprised, keenly noticed some faint traces within. Absorbed? Is there anything in this world that can devour the power of the sacred flame? Hearing Kailin's words, Xiao Yin couldn't help but feel a chilling sensation. With 6 kinds of sacred flames combined with the power of the 3rd sacred flame, even some true 7th reincarnation stage experts might struggle to absorb it so easily, right? Let's try again. Kailin gently bit her silver teeth, then placed her wrist on Xiao Yan's sleeve. A burst of 9-colored aura quietly flowed into Xiao Yan's body. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. This time, when her hand, enveloped with the flames and 9-colored aura, touched the stone coffin, there was no strange reaction. Xiao Yan's hand directly made contact with the coffin. As his palm touched the coffin, an intense chill shot up his arm, sending a sharp pain through his body. An eerie and domineering force seemed to surge from the stone coffin beneath, constantly drilling into Xiao Yan's palm. The excruciating pain caused Xiao Yan's expression to change dramatically. Xiao Yan abruptly withdrew his hands. His entire body shot backward, trembling uncontrollably as his gaze remained vigilantly fixed on the stone coffin. This coffin seems to be repelling the power within you. Let me give it a try. After 2 attempts, Kailin appeared to have come to a conclusion in her heart. With graceful movements, she silently approached, her ice-clear wrist radiating a faint 9-colored light. Be careful. Xiao Yan shook his head, but just as he finished speaking, the entire cave began to shake violently. Clang! As the 9-colored power on Kailin's wrist drew near to the stone coffin, the lid of the coffin suddenly seemed to respond to some sort of summons, slowly beginning to shift. After a moment, the ear-piercing sound of stone grinding against stone emerged. The stone coffin lid, which had been firmly shut, began to loosen, and from the narrow gaps, strange, dazzling demonic light burst forth. A terrifying aura that dominated the world descended, like a fierce beast arriving, shaking both Xiao Yin and Kailin. Quasi-7th reincarnation stage. Heavenly evil blood tiger. Xiao Yin quickly pulled Kailin into his embrace, while an immense surge of power began to swirl around him, seemingly constructing some extremely terrifying force. Ha ha ha. I have finally seen the light of day again. You vile creature, this time, I will not make the same mistake again. The skyward demonic light poured out from the gaps in the coffin lid, within which stood a human-like shadow, its crazy laughter echoing menacingly. At the same time, the god-slaying ruler, which had remained silent within Xiao Yan's body, began to resonate with a tremor as the cracks in the stone coffin lid expanded. That sensation did not feel like fear of the terrifying strength of the demonic beast, but rather resembled an encounter with a force of equal measure.